The Indiana Fever are no longer the same team they were just months ago. What began as quiet whispers inside the locker room has erupted into a full-blown franchise transformation. Head coach Stephanie White has reportedly stepped down, or depending on who you ask, been forced out. And the name being floated as her replacement has set the basketball world ablaze. Cheryl Miller. The icon, the legend, the woman who practically built the foundation of women's basketball itself, and the sister of Indiana's own Reggie Miller, is being linked to a comeback that nobody saw coming. For the Fever, this isn't just a change in leadership. It's a seismic shift, a power move that could redefine the trajectory of the entire WNBA. Because when a figure like Cheryl Miller walks into a locker room with Caitlin Clark in it, everything changes, on the court, off it, and in the boardrooms that control the league's future. Behind the scenes, this moment didn't materialize overnight. For months, tension had been brewing between Stephanie White and her young roster. At first, it seemed like the normal growing pains of a team trying to find its identity after the arrival of one of the most hyped rookies in history. But as the media spotlight intensified around Caitlin Clark, the cracks widened. Every game became a national event. Every interaction was analyzed in slow motion. White's structured, disciplined coaching style clashed with Clark's free-flowing, instinct-driven approach. White wanted execution. Clark thrived on creativity. What began as professional friction soon turned personal. Insiders recall one particular practice where things reached a breaking point. White reportedly told Clark she wasn't at Iowa anymore, that this was the pros and she'd have to play by the system. The room went silent. That single moment echoed across the locker room. Players began to take sides, whispering about whether Clark's influence was growing too fast or whether the coach was losing touch with her team. Soon, the once united Fever became divided between those who backed White's authority and those who gravitated toward Clark's leadership. When a star's voice starts carrying more weight than her coach's, the end becomes inevitable. Fever owner Steve Simon had seen enough. He had invested time, money, and energy into building a franchise that could finally compete, and Caitlin Clark was the centerpiece of that vision. She wasn't just a player. She was a phenomenon. Jersey sales were through the roof. The Fever's games were drawing national audiences the league had only dreamed of. Clark's mere presence had turned the Fever into the face of the WNBA. But behind the scenes, turmoil was threatening to undo everything. Reports of locker room division, whispers of Clark's camp pushing for changes, and the looming question of whether Stephanie White could control her own locker room, all of it reached a boiling point. Simon wanted control, not excuses. He had a choice to make: stand by his veteran coach or hand the reins to his superstar. In a league built on star power and media attention, the answer was obvious. Within days, White's departure was arranged. Officially, it was mutual. Unofficially, everyone knew what really happened. She had lost the team. Her final meeting with the players was short, emotional, and bittersweet. She thanked them, wished them success, and walked out quietly. But the sting came when she heard the whispers about her replacement, Cheryl Miller. Not just a coach, but a legend capable of erasing and rebuilding a legacy overnight. When the rumors broke, the internet exploded. Fans couldn't believe it. Could Cheryl Miller really return to the sideline after all these years? The name alone carried history. Naismith Hall of Famer, Olympic gold medalist, and one of the greatest collegiate players to ever live. She'd coached before, at USC and in the early WNBA, but had been away for years, focusing on broadcasting and mentoring young athletes. So why now? According to reports, Steve Simon personally reached out to her. He didn't just want a coach, he wanted a leader who could command Caitlin Clark's respect and unite the locker room under one voice. Miller's answer reportedly stunned everyone. She said she wasn't coming to babysit a superstar. She was coming to build a champion. That single statement reignited the Fever fan base overnight. Social media erupted with excitement. For many, this was the pairing they had dreamed of, the pioneer and the prodigy. The woman who paved the way for women's basketball, now mentoring the player destined to take it to the next level. Caitlin Clark, who had idolized Miller's generation growing up, suddenly had the chance to learn directly from one of the greats. And yet, beneath the excitement, tension lingered. Some veterans felt blindsided. They had built trust with Stephanie White and saw her as a mentor. Now everything they had known was gone overnight. To them, it felt like the team was being reshaped entirely around Clark's image. "It feels like Caitlin runs this team now," one anonymous player allegedly said. And in some ways, they weren't wrong. The Fever are no longer just a basketball team, they're a brand. And that brand revolves around Clark. Miller's arrival doesn't just represent change, it represents a challenge. Can the Fever balance superstar culture with team unity? For Cheryl Miller, the task ahead is monumental. She's not just inheriting a young team with talent, she's inheriting expectations. The world will be watching every huddle, every timeout, every moment between coach and player. Her old-school discipline meets Clark's modern flair, and it could either create the perfect storm of dominance or combustible chaos. If it clicks, the Fever become unstoppable. If it doesn't, the media circus will feast on every misstep. The stakes couldn't be higher. What makes this moment even more poetic is its connection to Indiana's basketball legacy. Reggie Miller once carried the Pacers to glory, cementing his name in state history. Now, decades later, his sister might do the same for the Fever. Imagine it. Both Millers leading Indiana basketball's new golden eras, one on the men's side, one on the women's. When Reggie posted, "She's back. Indiana, you're not ready." The entire state seemed to hold its breath. It felt like destiny coming full circle. But beyond nostalgia and headlines, Cheryl Miller's potential return has massive implications for the WNBA as a whole. Her presence brings instant credibility and gravitas to the league at a time when it's growing faster than ever. Networks, sponsors, and fans all recognize what this could mean. The league has never been more marketable, and the storylines, Clark's stardom meeting Miller's legacy, are pure box office gold. This is more than a coaching move. It's a cultural moment. Still, Miller isn't here for the show. She's here for the grind. Expect her to bring back fundamentals, discipline, and accountability. Players will have to earn minutes, not expect them. Clark, no matter how bright her star shines, will be challenged every single day. Miller doesn't care about social media trends or endorsement deals. She cares about winning. She'll push Caitlin harder than anyone ever has, not to humble her, but to elevate her into something even greater. This move, in many ways, defines three legacies at once. For Stephanie White, it's the end of a difficult chapter. She stabilized the franchise but couldn't control its future. For Cheryl Miller, it's a comeback decades in the making, a chance to prove her influence still matters in a new era of the game. And for Caitlin Clark, it's the next step from viral sensation to true leader, the moment she transitions from the face of the league to the heart of it. If this partnership works, the Fever could ignite a dynasty and elevate women's basketball to levels of respect and excitement never seen before. But if it fails, it will become one of the most analyzed implosions in sports history. Either way, history is being written in Indiana. The energy in Gainbridge Fieldhouse will soon tell the story, the echo of sneakers, the roar of fans, and maybe, just maybe, the beginning of something unforgettable. The Fever have made their statement. They're done being the underdogs. They're done being the experiment. With Cheryl Miller on the bench and Caitlin Clark leading on the floor, Indiana isn't chasing relevance anymore. They're chasing greatness. What do you think? Is Cheryl Miller the right coach to unlock Caitlin Clark's full potential, or has the Fever front office taken too big a gamble? Drop your thoughts below, and if you believe this new era is the start of something legendary, hit like, subscribe, and type Dynasty Mode in the comments to show your support for the Miller-Clark era.